Hello and welcome to Down and Dirty with Darci. I'm your host, Darci Smith, also known as Career Coach Darci. We are here to get down and dirty about careers, uncovering salaries, wild stories, backgrounds, and more from guests with some of the most eccentric professions each week. This podcast is presented by Onomy. Today, I have two amazing people with me, Kasmira and David. So I'm going to do bios for you both. So just you have to sit through that. Sorry. Kasmira does dance performance, including juggling, magic, and stilt work, just to name a few. She's also a choreographer and creative producer. Something I saw on her website is that she grew up with a rocket scientist as a mother, which I definitely need to ask you about. She also has a deep fascination for space. David Goldrake, also known as the International Man of Mystery, speaks 7 languages and is a magician that has performed for royalty, celebrities, Fortune 500 companies, and is a regular at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. He has performed in over 35 countries and has also been headlining his illusion show on the Las Vegas Strip since 2017. Headlining. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. I hate myself. This is how a career coach reads. Little does he know, I had a Lance Burton magic kit set as a kid, so I have some tricks up my sleeve.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like my pride and possession, and I would like perform for all my family and do the same tricks over and over and over, and they definitely knew what was going on. But yeah,
but that's
so
great.
I've always been very into magic, so like that's why I said headlining instead of headlining, and now I'm nervous. But I can't wait to get into both of you guys. So we'll just start, whoever wants to start, but like give me from the beginning where you're from, you know, how you got into what you're doing today, but just kind of give me a little background.
Kasmira, you start.
Okay. I'm from here, Los Angeles, born and raised. And I started out choreographing on my baby sister, like making her just dance with all her neighborhood friends till the endless hours of the night. And I've just always had a real passion for dance and choreography and directing. And in high school, I got even more into performance. And when then I went to film school. I went to USC for film school because I really love storytelling. And afterwards, once I realized I wasn't made to sit at a computer editing all day, I decided to really dive into professional dance. And I got my first professional dance job at Six Flags Magic Mountain, where they put the dancers in the magic show. And that was my first introduction to magic. And I've always loved secrets and hiding.
That's so cool.
And magic was just like the perfect combination of dance performance and choreography and secrets. And I believe in real magic too. So I love that the audience, just their expression every time a magic illusion would happen was just always so fulfilling. And I found that like once I started working for one magician, it's kind of a very small world and they all kind of just pass you around. And now, like, I don't know, you might be my 13th or 14th.
Wow.
Now.
Who was number one? Who was the number
Michael
one at Six Flags?
Perko.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I did the fire cage with him. That was my very first illusion.
Have you, is there stuff where you like, the only thing I know, like this is gonna sound very elementary, but like getting sawed in half.
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you done that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've done a few different types of them. One of the scariest ones I've ever done, it's called the clearly impossible, where you actually can see through the box. And the magician I was working for used a real giant buzz saw. So it's not just like let me stick a blade in. It's like a motorized giant saw that goes through you. Yeah, my mom has a hard time watching my shows. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But they must have taught you that in the Lance Burton magic.
Yes.
I didn't get the saw one. Unfortunately, I had the rings. I was really good with the rings.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, blinking rings.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you? Yeah.
So,
where are you from?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Luxembourg, which is one of the smallest countries in Europe. And I've been traveling all over the world most of my life. I started performing magic professionally in 1999. And before that, it was a hobby, it was a passion. And in 2014, I had a long-term, 3-month contract in Reno. And I decided that I should contact everyone in Vegas as well. And that's how we got a contract in Las Vegas in 2017. And I've been performing there on the Strip since.
Wow.
As well as touring, the rest of the world, the United States. And it's been a fun ride so far.
That is so cool. How, like, I guess there's a lot of people that say they like love magic or want to be a magician, and maybe they're even really good at it. But how does someone get to the level of now I can actually make it my career?
In my case, it was a very conscious choice. And I also did not want to have any other options. I feel when I speak to people about you're a career coach, so you will probably understand that a lot of people have their dream career, whatever it is. It could be a doctor, it could be banker, attorney, performer, anything. And sometimes there's something that holds them back, whether it's personal history, upbringing, values, anything. And it prevents them from doing that. And in my case, it was so strong, such a strong passion that I didn't give myself another choice. I have a lot of people who nowadays tell me, oh, you were so brave and you gave up this and that and you did it. And I'm like, oh, did I?
Yeah, to you, it's
to
like
me, it's a natural, organic
option.
process. Exactly. There was no other way. And I consider myself very fortunate to have had that attitude and that those feelings. So yeah, that's how it happened. It was very organic, very natural, very me. And I think it's different for everyone. And I wish more people just followed their purpose and their gift, because we all have, whatever it is, a gift, a talent, a purpose that we need to use and share with people. And very many people are just not ready to do it sometimes.
Right. No, 100%. I feel already inspired, and we just started. So,
Okay.
No, it's definitely, I speak to that a lot, is like especially the purpose piece. Most people say follow your passion. And like, to me, I'm like, man, but if you can just be purposeful about something and have a purpose, like that can take you so far.
Yes.
So I like to play this little game. If I were a magician and I'm really good at magic,
Yes.
can I just like send my resume to somewhere? Like, how do you get a show, or how do you get to perform? Like, do you start with, birthday parties? Like, I don't even, how do you even start?
How was it for you, Kasmira?
It was pure magic, honestly. That's how my life has unfolded. That's been my path. Like we're talking about following your purpose, or I like to say bliss, and just doing things that I love. Naturally would just take me, like, I never thought I wanted to get into magic. That had never been in my mind's eye. But then once I started getting into magic and loving it, I remembered this memory from, I was like 8 years old, and I was sitting on my mom's bed and watching the late night news. And there was a magician being interviewed with this like beautiful magician's assistant. And she really stuck out to me. And so it wasn't until fast forward, a couple decades, that I was then doing what my 8-year-old self had really connected to.
Right.
But it wasn't, I didn't make like a plan logically how to get there, but I just kept following what I love to do. And that has really been the magic in my life personally. So I don't know what tomorrow holds, but it's usually worked out okay.
Yeah. And as long as you're having fun doing it, like if you're consistently enjoying what you're doing, then it's just like whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say yes to that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the opposite.
This is perfect. Yeah.
I always had a master plan. It's a lot of things happened organically, obviously. They just happened because, things were moving. And a lot of the other things that I achieved were part of the master plan. Las Vegas is a perfect example. It's always been on my to-do list. It's always been a piece of the big puzzle. And I worked pretty much decades towards that. Every decision I was making for my performances was, would that benefit you for that move, and so forth and so on. And I did that with many different projects throughout my life. I remember watching a friend one day. We met in 97, and he had to do a birthday party for children. And he comes to the party, I accompany him, and he starts doing his bird act, literally very elaborate magician's bird act, like Lance Burton used to. And Lance won the world championship with that act, actually. But afterwards, I told him, said, Raphael, why are you doing a dove act that is so elaborate for this birthday party? And I said, well, David, this is my competition act that I want to perform in a few years there. And this is my 10,000 mile, playing ground. And I was fascinated and I understood it. I said, that makes total sense. And that's kind of how my career has evolved. A lot of it has been just like Kasmira's, organic, just happening, people calling you out of the blue. But you have to put in the 10,000, legendary hours. And at the same time, I think a master plan is very helpful. There are too many people especially in entertainment, I'm afraid, that go from show to show, from engagement to engagement, make fortunes, lose fortunes, don't even know where they lost them. And then they end up being 66, 70, 80, and there's nothing to show.
For that, yeah.
And I think it's really important to realize also, it's show business, and business is the longest word at the end of the day, unfortunately.
What's a typical magician show? Like, how long is it? Like, for your Vegas show, I'm sure it's different than other ones, but how long does it run?
It totally depends. And Kasmira can confirm it, I guess. We have shows like we are at the Magic Castle this week. We have 3 shows a night, and they're 43 minutes long.
Okay.
We have had smaller shows where you only do an act. We're part of a bigger event or a bigger context that can range from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. The full evening show in Las Vegas was 75 minutes. I've done tours in Europe where there's a different format, and that's 90 minutes. So it's really very flexible and eclectic.
Nice.
Yeah.
When both of you guys introduce yourselves to strangers and they ask you, like, what do you do? Or, like, if you meet someone or a friend of a friend, they're like, oh, what do you do for work? Like, I'm sure that there's like questions that come after you say what you do, right? Like, so how do you typically answer that?
I mainly say dancer, choreographer, and then if I want like an extra little reaction, sometimes I'll say I get sawed in half too.
Yeah,
and that response is always pretty funny,
right?
Too. So.
Yeah. Do you go by magician's assistant? Like, do you say that, or is that not a title?
I also like box jumper.
Okay.
That I feel like that's like the heavy duty getting in and out of the boxes, sawed in half and stuff, where sometimes magician's assistant can be like pushing out a tray in a sparkly dress, which is great too. Right. I love all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Excellent.
And when you say magician, like, do people
No,
like,
I just say, don't you know who I am?
As you should.
That's a typical magician's answer. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
No, I'm not that social, to be honest. So I rarely go out in contexts that are unfamiliar to me. So every time I'm surrounded by people, it's in my professional environment or in an environment where people know who I am because of my activities. So I rarely have to say that. And if it happens, like I go to the castle regularly as a guest as well. And because I am more reserved and introvert, every time people ask me what I do, my answer is I'm a philanthropist. So no one asks me more questions. Oh, interesting. And they don't know what to do with that answer. It's part of what I do. I love helping and giving back, and I do a lot of philanthropic ventures, but it's just my out not to go, I'm a magician, or it's just me. That's my personal choice, actually.
Right.
But if I had to give an answer that is accurate, I would probably say, yeah, I'm a magician. I'm an illusionist. And then, people always have questions, counter questions. So for instance, what instrument do you play? No, I said magician, not musician. That happens regularly to our colleagues.
Go with it. Piano.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's funny. But yeah.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. And what is this wasn't on here, but what's your favorite trick to do? Or do you guys have both of you?
Can you go first?
Okay.
I have so many.
You have so many?
Explain
That's
it in
cool.
great
I love
detail.
that.
Like maybe now I know how to do it.
I have one favorite piece that I've actually been performing for a very long time. I call it Triple Alliance. That's the title I gave it. And it's me borrowing 3 rings from the audience. Wedding ring, engagement ring, whatever ring they have that's meaningful to them. And that's, piggybacking on the purpose. I want people to have an emotional experience when I perform. It's not just performing a trick. I want to perform a theatrical piece that has meaning, that has an impact, hopefully. And so I borrowed these 3 rings. I have them on a little metallic stick, like a wand, and then I link them together visibly. And I show them, they're hanging one inside the other. I walk through the audience. The owners can touch the rings, examine them, tug on them. And then on stage, I separate them again and I return them. The first time I saw that piece, I felt real magic. I felt this is what real magic should look like. This is what stage magic should be like, because I'm just the vessel, so to speak. I borrow your rings that have your memories, that you loaded with special moments and meaning, and I'm just connecting them. And nowadays, even more, I had a script for a long time, but with everything that's been happening the last 3-4 years, I literally start with the statement that I think that in today's increasingly divisive world, human connections are the most beautiful gift we can share. And so I borrow those rings and I perform it, and I can tell how I touch people. And that's my favorite piece of magic that I perform.
Awesome.
It's not a big thing. It's not huge. It's minimal. I only have the stick. That's the only thing that's mine. The rest is all from the audience. I use their magic, their experiences.
Have you ever had someone worried they're not going to get it back?
Always. They always half jokingly said, I can trust you, can't I? Yes, you can. And you know, it's halfway joke, but at the same time, you can tell that they do care. I had a lady at the castle, Sharon was her name. That was Monday night, 2 days ago. After the show, she walked up to me, you know, this is a $52,000 ring. And I just thanked her. I said, thank you so much for trusting me, because it's a lot of money and the emotions that are going with it. Right. It's beautiful to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's
You
awesome.
had a World Series ring last night.
Yes,
That was
very
cool,
right.
too.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I've had
Is
some
that
of
baseball?
those. Yes.
Okay.
I love you.
Yeah, but it was I've had some of those.
This act is magic. Like, so you would think, because I'm on the wings, the side of the stage in the wings, right? You would think that maybe I get a hint of like what's actually happening, and like I'm working with David, right? You would think I would know everything that's happening.
Right.
I watch this piece every night and it blows my mind.
Oh,
And David, you're such a great storyteller too with your presence. So it's such a powerful, just
makes like the whole.
Yeah, you have a really profound way of doing magic.
Thank you.
Too, and it blows. This trick blows my mind. I think it is real magic, actually. I think you're a wizard.
Yeah.
So
I believe in that.
Enough about me.
So.
What about you?
Yeah. What's your favorite?
I have so many favorites. It's really hard to choose. The one that came to mind first, one of my favorite magicians I've worked for, his name's Chuck Jones.
Oh yeah.
And he's just a very well-respected illusionist. He had his own TV show in the, 60s or something. Anyways, and he designs his own tricks. But the first trick I ever did with him, which this was like a turning point for my magic career, because he really showed me all the ropes of magic illusions. He has this trick called squeeze play, which, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he puts me in a box and squeezes it like flat together. And just, it's such a fun, there's not any like deadly swords or, anything dangerous happening, but it's so quick and it's really cute, and a really quick costume change happens at the same time, because he flattens me and he pulls out this cardboard picture of me to show that now I'm like squished together. And then really quickly he restores me, and I'm like, now it's just really cute. So that one's very sentimental to me, because that was like right at the turning point for me. So that's probably my favorite if I had to pick.
That's amazing. One. Do you know all the intricacies of the trick? Like
of that trick?
Or
of the ones I do? Yeah, the ones I do, yes.
And then there's some, like you were saying before, there's some that you just don't.
If I'm not doing the trick, first of all, I don't want to know, because I do believe in real magic. And also I don't get how a lot of like the small magic or close-up magic, how it all works.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
What was, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What was the first trick you've ever learned?
Wow. The first piece I learned was a piece with thimbles. It was in a children's magazine, I remember. And it was all about making a thimble disappear and reappear afterwards with a pseudo reveal where you have the ring, you have the thimble on your index finger, and you go under your armpit and you pull it out. Hey, it's gone, and then you lift your armpit and it's really gone, and then you make it reappear. That's the first piece that I learned. I was 8 years old.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Cute.
and you just did it over and over, I assume.
In the beginning, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I just feel like that's once you learn one thing, you're like, oh, I just gotta show everyone.
Excitement, absolutely. True.
Yeah.
True.
Do you have an interest in doing like tricks, like of your own, like
yeah,
just small
I'm-
ones even?
I just started learning my first small trick, which I was like, oh, I got this, right? No problem. It's very difficult. It is. I was telling a great magician, Christopher Hart, who was teaching me the trick. I was telling him, like, my fingers haven't developed, I guess, the muscles that you
Ooh, I
need for
bet. Yeah.
all these things. Like this, I don't have much strength between my pinky and my ring finger, and you need, I don't
Yeah.
know, dexterity for these things. So yes, I'm just
Didn't
dipping
even
my
think
toe
about
in.
that.
It's
Like,
crazy.
do you guys do exercises?
There
I
are
know.
exercises.
Yeah.
There are
I-
exercises.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some
And
push-ups.
despite the exercises that we do sometimes, every slide, every new piece always involves new movement, new choreography, new muscles sometimes. And you will always discover new things about your anatomy that you didn't know before. There you go, oh, wait, I have a little cramp here. I didn't even know that could be possible. So
Right.
it's pretty interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even like try to play the guitar. So like, there's no way I can.
It's all practice.
Yeah.
It's all
Right.
practice.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool. Okay. I was gonna say, so I actually have on here, how do you guys, you kind of touched on this before, but practice wise, how do you practice? Like, is there like, cause comedians have like, they'll go to like small local clubs and they'll practice on like, local, but how do you guys practice? Is it like friends and family?
I think there are different ways, and it also depends on the piece. When Kasmira and I first met, it was during a California tour called It's Magic last spring. And you have the prop, you have the music, you have the choreography. Sometimes the choreography is elaborated by the magician or some choreographer. When I was in Vegas, we had a choreographer and director who did the whole thing. And you bring in your personality. In our case with Kasmira, it's a hybrid. We have a piece that we perform together that I've been performing for many years. But since Kasmira is a new partner, I said, hey, what would you like to add to this? Do you see anything else that
cool.
would that you see would work? And we developed that. So it becomes workshop. It's like a dance choreography. There's a workshop that we play around on stage. And the thing about magic, as opposed to, I think, a lot of other theatrical art forms, is that it's, I think we give ourselves more freedom to let it breathe and live. I've done theater, and you have your script and you don't deviate and you have those movements. I remember once we were doing a play Dracula. I was playing the lead role, and it was multilingual. And one line was to be delivered in German, and I never felt comfortable with it, even though I speak it fluently. So one day, without telling the director, I walk on stage and I delivered in English. I had read the Bram Stoker's original work in English. So he came backstage and started yelling at me. You can't do that. It's set.
Yeah.
And magicians, since most of us do not have choreographers, directors, you have more freedom, and some of the greatest moments actually do happen during those moments. We've had things happen on stage where you go, this was brilliant, let's keep this. I had a piece in Vegas that, again, choreographed, very set, and one of my assistants, Alexi, comes to me after the show, David, I've been thinking, what if I did this and this instead? And I'm like, that's fantastic, let's try it. And it worked. So there's a lot of experimenting with it, and after a few hundred performances, it starts taking its shape and becoming what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, and it also becomes alive thanks to the audience. You listen to your audience. I think that's a gift that a lot of us need to develop, being able to listen to your audience and know what resonates with them and what doesn't, because sometimes they just applaud out of, kindness or politeness. And you should be able to understand and feel that, like, no, I get it. You're just being nice.
That was like amazement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel this was good. So why was it that good?
So the practice really is the performance, because
there's a lot of practice before that,
But I mean,
then
like,
it
to
becomes
get it
alive
with
on
the-
stage.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
because That's what I mean. Like like when I say comedians, they're practicing in those like small crowds just to hear the laughs and
Yes,
when the
yes,
pulses
correct.
are. And same with you guys. Like you
Yes.
need to know when the shock value, like when the things happen. Is it common for you to like perform for your friends and family, or do you try like, nah?
I'm probably one of the rarest magicians on this planet who has never had one of their relatives or partners go, "Hey, pick a card."
Really?
I don't
Really?
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept magic secret for a long time. Like you said earlier, the
Yeah.
thimbles, I was 8 years and, kid, and I did it. And the more serious it became, the more I kept it to myself.
Yeah. I love
And
that though.
and
I mean,
then when
that's,
I was
yeah.
18, I walked up to our principal and for a festivity in school, I'm like, would you mind if I performed a little show? And she's like, what do you do? I said, I do magic. She's like, oh yeah, that's cute. Go ahead. And then she saw the show and she's like, I didn't know you did that. Can you do it again this afternoon? Yes. But all my friends were like,
cool.
you never told us. I said, I know. And to this day, like I said, the philanthropist, phenomenon, I don't really go out and share it like in a informal context.
How cool that your principal was supportive too. Like,
I
what do you
loved
think?
it.
What do you think would have happened if they would have been like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like I wonder
I
if
have
that would
no
have been
clue.
the end
That's
of
a
it."
great
Very,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
clue.
important years in
Yeah.
your life of like
Yeah.
getting that
Yeah.
encouragement.
No, but
Yeah.
she was phenomenal. We're still friends to this
Oh,
day.
good.
Yeah, when I was in
that's
Vegas, she
cool.
visited me. She emailed me. She's like, "Hey, David, I would like to come see you." I'm like, "What?"
That's
I
so
was
cool.
18,
That's
and
so
she was an
sweet.
amazing lady.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. What I might be able to guess this, but I'd love to know what is your favorite part about your jobs?
Kasmira.
The sparkly dresses. I mean,
I could have guessed that because of Aaron. Like,
I love it.
I mean, I don't know that that's actually my favorite, but I love it. But in sincerity, even though that is very sincere. So my mission in life is to create a peace-filled world through connection, creativity, and healing love. And I feel like
Sounded like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll take
love
that.
it. I love it.
No, but it's
Yes,
true.
yes.
And I really feel like magic does fulfill that mission for me. You get to connect with the audience. It really is a relationship. We get to connect on stage.
Yes.
That really is a relationship too. Like we have to be
Yes.
in sync or
yeah.
else something dangerous might potentially happen. And it's creative and I love it. And I feel like that just breeds more inspiration and synergy from the audience to the performer. And I get so much from them, and hopefully they're getting some energy bounced back off of them. So it
Yeah.
really does fill me up.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It took me a long time to find out that for me, it's similar. For me, it was and still is about sharing meaningful and impactful moments with the audience. Every piece I perform has some kind of subtext that is more or less obvious. And I always say that those who get the message, I'm happy for them. And those who don't get the message still get a beautiful performance, hopefully.
Right.
Like we do a piece where Kasmira gets in a box and I thrust swords through it and then she comes out unharmed. And to me, that's a piece about invulnerability. A lot of people always tell us, oh, yeah, magic is so sexist and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, we're actually demonstrating the power of the woman. She goes in this box, I thrust a sword through it, and then she comes out and she's unharmed. Nothing could harm her. So
Right.
it's far from sexist. It's the opposite. When I do the rings, it's about human connections. The mirror is about immortality, about transcending different other things. And every single piece, I close the show with one piece that I call the puzzle of life. It's about us overcoming obstacles and yet keeping it whole. So that's what magic is about for me. And that's also what touches me the most when I see the smiles in people's eyes and also sometimes tears. I've had people walk up to me after the show, you made me cry. And that to me is the biggest compliment
That's
because I know I
amazing.
touched them
Yeah.
at a level that goes way deeper than just entertainment.
Yeah.
That to me is why I do it. It's just empower people, impact them, and share those moments.
Yeah. Have you guys, switching gears a little bit, but have you ever had anyone that's like tried to figure out the trick or like come up and ask you like, okay, well, you did it like this, right?
All the
Like,
time.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Or do you just kind of like let them have that? You're like, yeah. Or like you just kind of like nod along.
Kasmira, what do you do
Yeah.
in those cases?
Yeah, I usually just say it's magic, honestly,
Gotcha.
like, 'cause
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm different. If I have skeptics that come to me and do confront me, I have a few examples. I tell them, why do you care? I tell them it's like theater, it's like a movie. I go to a movie, you watch the movie, you know they're using CGI, but I don't wonder, oh, what software are
How'd
they
they use it?
using?
Yeah.
You know, oh, they probably use that program for this and that software for that. I just let it happen. And I tell them that. And then I take out my phone. I said, I have no clue how this thing works. I use it every single day.
Right, yeah,
I have a box at
agreed.
home. I
The
put
TV
water.
thing,
That's it.
I still don't get TV.
Exactly. I tell them I put something in this box at home. I put water in it. I take it out. It's ice. You know, it's a freezer. I don't know how it works, but I still use it every day. And
Yeah.
I say to them, magic should be the same. Just let it go. Let it happen. Enjoy the beauty if it's beautiful for you. Enjoy the performance. You shouldn't worry about how it works because there's so much around us. It is all mystery.
Yeah.
And we haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my line. That's my answer to them.
The magic or the psychology behind magic, which we've talked about recently too, it's really interesting because there's different types of audience members. There's the people that are totally fine suspending their disbelief, right? And just want to be entertained and
Oh,
live
yeah.
in the magic. And then there's the like engineer brains that
Yes.
need to
Yes.
like my mom, for example. I know I'm talking about my mom a lot, but anyway, she
No, like-
needs to know.
A rocket scientist, I
How-
would assume.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's, you recently showed me a Siegfried and Roy
Oh.
performance. And one of the lines in there is Siegfried, correct me if I'm getting this wrong. Siegfried says, to me, magic is life.
Oh yeah.
And to Roy, life is magic. And those two different,
Yeah.
the psychology between is the studying of magic your life, or is life a magical place? It's
Right.
really interesting to see the two
Yeah.
different psychologies behind that.
My boyfriend and I will go to a show, and that's the exact.
Yeah.
I am like, I'm just here and I'm loving it, and I'm like, I just
Yeah.
want to be entertained, and I don't care how they do it. I'm just happy to be here,
Yeah.
and like they're crushing it, And he's like
Yes.
sitting there the whole time,
Uh-huh.
can't even enjoy it because he's like,
Yeah.
I wonder how that. And it's not like he's trying to be. That's just how he works. He's
It's
like,
the nature.
yeah, he's
yeah.
like, I just want to like
It's
figure
not
it
a
out.
conscious thing.
Yeah.
As professional entertainers, we have similar experiences or tendencies when we go watch other shows. I
was gonna
saw
ask.
Moulin Rouge not too long ago here at the
yeah.
Pantages.
Me too.
I adore it. I'm a fan of Moulin Rouge. I loved the movie in 2001. And honestly, I'm sitting there, and the first 10 minutes, I'm looking all around. I'm counting the lights. I'm looking at what is this? What is that? How many layers do they have? How is the heart constructed? And so forth and so on. And luckily, after 10, 15 minutes, I experienced what I would like my audiences to experience. I'm just letting go, and I have goosebumps now, but I'm just immersed in it, and I enjoy it. I don't
yeah.
care what microphone they're using anymore. Later, I will ask. Maybe later I'll go as a professional out of interest. Hey, by the way, what did you use here? What did you do there? And I think it's a natural instinct that some people, like you said, your boyfriend have. It's not a conscious choice. It's just their nature. You know, it's
Right.
curiosity, it's interest. How does it work? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love it. I can't remember his name, but he was on Netflix. And I went to his show here in LA.
Justin Willman?
Yes, Justin Williams.
Justin,
Willman. Yeah, he does the Ring thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, like everything he did, I was just like the whole time, just like what, how, and like I could see people coming up to him after the show and like
Yes.
asking questions. I'm like, oh, that must be annoying, but I was like, I just want to say like I appreciate like the like you were talking about, like the enjoyment of it, not necessarily like I'm watching magic tricks, but I'm coming to a performance.
That's
or like,
it.
Yeah,
It's
an
an experience.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. Oh, I love it so much. It's great. That I wanted to ask with magic tricks, because I think you mentioned something earlier that someone creates their own, like you can create your own, what is it called? Like a illusion?
an
like
illusion, a piece,
You like,
yeah.
create it. And then can you be taught magic, but are there people that teach certain ones, or do you have to learn things yourself? Like, how does that work?
There are various ways. The Magic Castle has a school, for instance. They do have classes where
cool.
they teach people magic. And in most cases, it's the basic sleight of hand parts. They teach you how to work with coins, how to work with cards, how to work with different other objects. And that's how you build a foundation. What I miss in most of those courses is the actual work, which is the theatrical part. Magic is a performance art. I actually had a video game producer in our audience yesterday, and we talked after the show, and I was shocked in a very nice way about the fact that he said, what you do is full theater. You dance, you move, you act, you have music, you have lighting, you have choreography. There's everything in it. It's a fully encompassing art form. And a lot of people in theater or other branches, they go like, yeah, you're just a magician. So when you learn magic from those courses, whether it's the Magic Castle or some other limited places, you learn the basics, you learn the scales, but that's it. But you don't know how to play music. They just teach you the scales, the basic foundation. And then the hard work comes during practice, rehearsal. I think there's a lot of talent as well involved. I'm always very, careful to use that word, because I think talent is 99% work.
Yeah.
and the affinity, but there's something in there. I've observed people in different areas, whether it's medicine or other fields, where I go, no, I get it. You were born to be a doctor, or you were born to be an attorney, or whatever you are. So I think that plays a big role as well.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a tricky thing. We don't have those academical structures like Juilliard or other schools where you go, oh, I'm going to Hogwarts to become a magician.
I have a master's in magic.
Exactly. It doesn't exist. And I wish it did, because it might elevate our status within the public image.
That's true.
I've worked with Broadway people and other areas, and they go like, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm like, I've studied theater.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They won't give you that credit, because there is no such thing as, here's your diploma.
Right.
It doesn't exist in our world. I wish it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, for me being a box jumper, like, I've worked with magicians that really don't know how I'm supposed to get in the box and
Yes.
avoid all the swords. And they're just like, okay, just go. I'm going to lock you in this tiny
What?
spot and just don't get hit, okay? And so I know it's
That was the
shocking.
shock.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a school for box jumpers.
No, that is
you
true.
know, I've thought about starting one, because there's a very small group of us that, sometimes have to deal with some wacky magicians. And
Yeah. I mean, if they're telling
Yeah.
you there's not like a specific plan
Yeah,
here, and there's
had
sharp objects.
I've had a couple close panic attacks at sometimes, just like, you want me to fit where and do what, and you're not, and a lot of them can't fit in the boxes themselves, right?
Right.
What I appreciated about when we first rehearsed together, like, David really knew, like, this is how I would like it to happen. I'm going to walk you through it. You're very safe. Like, so that's always
that's
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you would assume that's how most would be,
No,
but apparently
no, it's not.
So, okay, just because I didn't know this, I didn't know this term like the term box jumper is in relation to being in a box, or being the person that's in the boxes.
Yes.
Okay.
And it comes from I think I don't want to say it because I do not really remember. It may be 50s, 60s, where the girl assistant, always jumped out of the box looking pretty.
Okay.
So they called them box jumpers at some point.
I was
That's a
in my
term they
mind thinking
got.
like you can jump from box to box.
No, they
you
just
know what I mean?
they jumped out of the box.
yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
it's coming from.
Got it.
But you're right, Kasmira. I've dealt with colleagues. We've done some festivals over the years where you see the magician tell their assistant, you just figure it out. And it takes guidance. Even I, as a magician, yes, I am my own boss and I know what I want. And that's different than having someone working with you. You have to make them feel comfortable. It's like diving. You have to learn the environment first, get comfortable with the environment. Like when we started the sword box, I told Kasmira, this is how you should get in. This is the position you have, so you are safe and comfortable. And now you have a few minutes to acquaint yourself with the prop. This is your world now. This is your playground. Find out the dangers, find out the comfort zone. And once you've done that, we continue with the next step. And a lot of magicians, like you said, don't try it. Sometimes it's a size factor. I've tried to fit in that sword box. I don't. I do know how to lay there. I know what to do, so I can show you on the ground,
right.
but I will not be able to go inside. There's other props or illusions that I was able to demonstrate. Okay, this is what happens. This is what it is. And I think it's really important. I remember when they opened Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas, they have this phenomenal stage that at some point turns at a vertical level, and then they start running up and down. They're hung by cables, and they had a phase, I think it was a week or two, where they literally reversed the roles. The riggers were hanging, and the artists were up there operating everything.
Wow.
So both parties would know what the other is going through.
I love that.
Yeah.
Me too. The moment I found that out, I said, this is how everything should work.
I was to say that could be transcended across so many different.
Totally.
Should we
Yeah.
do that tonight?
Cross training.
We can try. I'll walk through the mirror.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So you guys have shows tonight.
We have 3 shows tonight.
Exciting. And then you are in Vegas. What's the Vegas give us more information about that.
Well, right now we are not performing in Vegas. We closed recently because I got all these offers to tour. I've been on the road almost the entire year. I
Wow.
haven't been home 3 days in a row this year.
Where's home right now for you?
Las Vegas. I live in Las
Okay,
Vegas.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm going home next week. And then after 2 days, I'm going to Lake Tahoe, then back home for a week, then back to Lake Tahoe. Then I'll be San Diego. And we are negotiating with various casinos now to possibly reopen next spring. But that's something we don't know yet. So we shall see.
And when that's on, is it like every day?
Yes, it's
Multiple shows a
6 to
day?
7 shows a day. A week, forgive me, a week. So it's 1 show a day. And
Okay.
during the high season, sometimes it's even 2 shows a day.
Wow.
And that's 2 shows at 75 minutes long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, my last magic question, but like for each of you, what is your favorite show you've ever been to?
Kasmira.
Is that gonna be hard?
That's a great question. I love that.
I have so many favorites. Okay,
Top
I'm
3.
just going to go to the one that comes to mind first since
Yeah.
we've talked about Lance Burton. So I remember that was the first magic show I ever saw was the Lance
Really?
Burton show. I think it was talking about it with Chris Hart. I think it was
Yes.
in its magic show actually.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool because now I get to perform in
did
that
it,
show.
yeah.
And I was probably 8 or something, but I was just blown away. And just 2 months ago, I got to meet him for my
Really?
first time, and he was very
How
nice.
was Lance?
He was very nice, and he's
That's how
an
he
animal
speaks.
activist, which is really amazing
Cool.
too.
Yeah.
So that one sticks out to me. But come back to me. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are we talking purely magic or anything?
Oh, give me anything, and then give me magic.
I forget the name of the show because it was so unique. It was a Japanese show. They had it was choreographed by Japanese artists, and all the performers were Japanese. They came from Japan, and it was a very movemental show where at the end they're all standing naked on stage and there's sand pouring from all over the place.
Wow.
It was very organic, very nature oriented, and I still have very vivid memories of that show. That was just phenomenal and unique.
That's
I had
cool.
never seen anything like that before. I saw another one that impressed me a lot, which came to Vegas but only lasted for a few weeks. I saw that in New York for the first time in 2013, I believe. Fuerza Bruta, very back then avant-garde in the sense that it was immersive. Nowadays it's the keyword for every show. Whoa, we're immersive.
Immersive, yeah.
But back then they were immersive. You came into it was a big warehouse. The stage was above you, a big sheet of plastic where all of a sudden the performers start sliding up and down and all over you. And then
Whoa.
the stage walks slides in and they're running on treadmills. You have wind in your face, you have everything. Phenomenal.
I love that.
I loved that too. That's the first time I experienced such a show. And magic-wise, I have 2 shows that are still very present. The first one that comes to mind is David Copperfield's show, Dreams and Nightmares, that he performed on Broadway in 1996, December 96. Francis Ford Coppola gave him the title. Eiko Ishioka, who by now passed away. She passed away a few years ago. She did the costumes and some of the designs and set, which was just spectacular. And then Siegfried and Roy show. Siegfried and Roy just transcended the typical magic show. There was back then, again, technology-wise and everything, they used stuff that had never been done before. They had, I don't know how many miles of cables under the stage. Siegfried was panicking. Siegfried said, it's the worst thing we've ever done. We were used to doing everything. You open a door manually, the tiger walks through, everything's safe. But then all of a sudden, the door's automated.
Right.
You press the button, and sometimes the door does not open. And the tigers did get hurt. Some they bumped into the door.
Yeah.
Siegfried was inside this huge metallic dragon that was snapping its jaws with him trying to escape from the jaws. And it's all timed. But then sometimes it jams and we get hurt. But it was a phenomenal show that was just beyond any magic show. And I still believe to this day that Cirque du Soleil was inspired by the Siegfried and Roy show in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Spectacular costumes, spectacular technology.
So cool.
Illusions, unbelievable. They had the animals, which added a thing. But it was those two shows in the magic world were extremely meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I want to go watch some.
What about
magic.
you?
I don't know. I'm like trying to rack my brain. I mean, just because I saw that one most recently with Justin Willman, it was like so good, and it was a really small venue, so it felt really intimate with the whole audience.
Was that here in LA?
It was at the Roosevelt.
Yes, the Roosevelt downstairs. It's a great
Downstairs.
venue. Great
Yeah,
room.
it was so cool. I didn't realize it was gonna be so like small and
Yes.
really interacted with the audience. But the reason it's my favorite is because something happened to me, so it's like it made it personal. Like I
Yes.
was the first act that was on. He asked me like what my first concert that I ever went to. I don't know if you've heard of this trick, but
I saw the show.
oh, you did? Okay, yeah. So
I
then
was there.
I tell my friend or something, or I don't even think I wrote it down. I don't even remember. But anyways, and then he like talks and then he prints out Sum 41, which is my first concert, on a piece of paper and like shows the audience, and I was like, what? Like, how did he do that?
Yes.
But then it ruined it because the whole time I'm thinking, how did he do that? How did he do that? And it's like the rest of the show, I'm like, no. And still to this day, I have that piece of paper. So
That's cool.
The
do you
magic like really
was
makes
really
an
cool.
impression,
Yeah.
right?
Do you remember what happened with the printer though?
No, what happened?
Well, he takes it and crumples
he crumbles it up.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's not
piece of
even
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the print, the it comes out of the printer and then it says Sum 41. It's on a piece of paper, and then he like flips it around and then like grabs the printer, and it turns out the printer's fake.
Yes.
So it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's two effects in one.
Yeah,
it's very
two,
cool.
two
It's
in
really
one.
cool.
I'm sitting there like, I mean, I've had a good bottle of wine at this point, and I'm like, what is going on?
No,
But,
he's really,
yeah,
really good.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my show, we do something in my show.
It is your show.
Who am I?
Yes.
This is
You
my
are
magic
Darci.
show.
You're the hostess.
So we play a game called Smash or Pass, which is literally like you like it or you don't like it. So it's just like a few random words, and then you just say smash or pass. If you like it, you say smash. Obviously, if you don't, you say pass. So you guys can both say for each one. But country music.
Smash. No, a smash is good, right?
Good, yeah.
No, pass.
Pass.
Oh, pass.
Pass.
Okay. Beaches.
Smash.
Depends.
What does
Smash?
it depend on? If it, like
The beach.
the beach. Like, okay, California beach, yay. Florida beach, no.
It depends.
Okay.
We'll leave it
Sorry.
at that.
Yeah.
I'll go with
For the most
smash.
part, smash.
Okay. Designer clothing.
Smash.
Pass.
Sparkles.
Yes. Sparkle is a definite smash.
Yeah. Accounting.
Pass.
Pass.
Dinner parties.
Pass.
Smash.
And then my last one, of course, is magic.
Smash.
all day. Well,
What about you?
oh, for the country music is a yes.
Okay.
Beaches, I don't like the sand in my body. Like I don't like it. I like to be cabins, stuff like
Mountain.
I'm a mountain girl. Yeah. Designer clothing, definitely no. Accounting, I wish I could do it better. But no. Dinner parties, yes, if there's something happening, like if it's like a murder mystery dinner
Well, if
party.
you're there,
Yes,
something
murder
is
mystery.
happening.
Yeah, if I'm there. And then magic, yes. Now all I want to do is go to a magic show. So thank you
Yes.
guys for this
Cool.
inspiration.
That's
Is there anything else you want to share, like where people can find you, social media stuff?
Kasmira.
Yeah.
Instagram, Planet Kasmira.
I'm David Goldrake. Very simple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you want to come to the castle this week, we're there. You're
Cool.
more than welcome.
Yes,
Thank
come
you
join
so
us.
much. That'd be so
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on Down
Thank
and
you.
Dirty, and it's been so much fun. And
It has.
yeah, thanks for sharing what you guys love with everyone else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.